Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we've got a profoundly important explainer lined up for you. We're going to be unpacking a topic that affects literally millions of people, yet it almost always flies entirely under the radar. We're looking at the 8 signs you grew up with emotional neglect. Okay? Let's dive right into this, because this is honestly one of those subjects that can radically shift how you understand yourself and really your entire personal history. So you might be wondering, why does a quote-unquote normal childhood still hurt? Picture this for a second. You grew up with a roof over your head. There was always food in the fridge. You went to a good school. Maybe you even played sports or went on nice family vacations every summer. By all outside metrics, your childhood looked absolutely picture perfect. Your basic physical needs were undoubtedly met. And yet, as an adult, you walk around carrying this lingering, unspoken ache. It's this profound, incredibly confusing contrast between the material comfort you had and the stark reality of the hidden emotional pain you feel right now. How can both of those things be true at the exact same time?
Well, here's our roadmap for today to figure that out. We're going to cover the invisible childhood trauma, the internal warning signs, the relationship red flags, and finally, breaking the cycle.
All right, let's jump right into section 1, the invisible childhood trauma. There is a crucial distinction we need to make right out of the gate here. When we hear the word trauma, our minds usually jump straight to active harm, right? We think of emotional abuse, the shouting, the direct insults, the calculated actions taken to tear someone down. But emotional neglect, that's an entirely different landscape. It is a passive absence. It's the important, comforting conversation that simply never happened. It's the reassurance that wasn't offered when you were crying alone in your room. It's the profound lack of a parent asking, "How was your day?" and genuinely, deeply wanting to know the answer. It is trauma caused not by what happened, but by what actually didn't happen. Childhood emotional neglect is defined as the trauma resulting from the passive absence of emotional validation and response during formative childhood years. I want to read that clearly because I really want to validate something for you right now in this moment. An absence of action is still a highly impactful form of trauma. Just because there are no visible bruises, and just because you can't point to one specific, dramatic event, that absolutely does not mean your pain isn't real. The ongoing lack of emotional mirroring, which is basically having your feelings seen and understood by a caregiver, shapes a child's developing brain just as deeply and sometimes just as destructively as active harm.
Moving on to section 2, the internal warning signs.
Okay, here are the first 4 signs. Sign number 1 is unexplained feelings of emptiness. Sign number 2, severe perfectionism. Sign number 3 is harsh self-judgment. And sign number 4, difficulty identifying your own emotions. Now, looking at this list, it's incredibly common to just brush it off. You might think to yourself, well, I'm just a stressed, type A person living in a fast-paced world. But in the context of our explainer today, these adult behaviors act as an invisible thread. They aren't just random personality quirks. They connect straight back to the emotional neglect you experienced in childhood. Let's look closer at that first sign, the unexplained feeling of emptiness. This is that invisible thread in action. It's the persistent sensation of walking through your daily life feeling like something is fundamentally, deeply wrong with you, but you have absolutely no idea why. You might feel a hollow space inside, a sort of emotional numbness that you just can't quite shake, no matter how successful you become. And I want to validate this for you right now. This emptiness is not a flaw in your character. It is a direct, logical symptom of what didn't happen in your youth. When your emotions aren't filled up, recognized, and validated by a caregiver early on, well, that space just stays empty into adulthood. And consider this idea. Perfectionism is an internal shield used to cope with the pain of an emotionally absent environment. That completely changes how we view perfectionism, doesn't it? It's not just a drive for success or a really commendable work ethic. When you grow up in a home where your internal world is emotionally ignored, you subconsciously learn that maybe, just maybe, if you are perfect, if you get straight A's, if you never make a single mistake, if you are completely flawless and never cause trouble, then finally, someone will notice you. You build this exhausting, heavy shield of perfection to protect yourself from the acute pain of being invisible. Okay, section 3, the relationship red flags. Sign number 5 is constant relationship difficulties. Sign number 6, a deep fear of dependence. Sign number 7 is chronic people-pleasing. And sign number 8, feeling fatally flawed around others. When you grow up without a strong, emotionally validating foundation at home, it completely skews how you interact with friends, romantic partners, and even your colleagues. These relationship red flags are the external aftermath of that absent foundation. It's essentially how the internal pain leaks out into your interactions with the rest of the world.
Let's really unpack that fear of dependence. On the outside, this often looks like incredible strength. You know, the absolute lone wolf, I don't need anyone, I can do it all myself kind of attitude. But the facade of hyper-independence often hides a profound fear of relying on emotionally unavailable people. As a child, when you reached out for emotional support, there was no safety net there to catch you. You were just left hanging. So your brain cleverly adapted to survive by deciding that it is simply unsafe to rely on anyone. That childhood lack of a safety net translates directly into an adult's relationship difficulties. You push people away, not because you don't want love, but because trusting someone to actually be there for you feels entirely too dangerous.
Which leads us to ask, are you constantly people-pleasing to earn the emotional response you never received? When you constantly bend over backwards to make everyone else around you happy? When you consistently ignore your own boundaries and your own exhaustion just to keep the peace? You aren't just being the nice guy or the easygoing friend. You might actually be subconsciously reenacting your childhood trauma. You're trying desperately to be so agreeable and so helpful that you finally earn the love, the attention, and the basic emotional validation that was quietly withheld from you when you were small.
Let's move into our final section, breaking the cycle.
Healing from emotional neglect isn't just a pipe dream. It is entirely possible, and it generally follows a vital three-step procedure. Step 1 is acknowledging the invisible trauma. Simply recognizing the 8 signs we just discussed is the monumental first step, because let's face it, you cannot heal what you refuse to acknowledge. Step 2 is setting healthy boundaries, learning to finally say no and learning to prioritize your own emotional needs, perhaps for the very first time in your entire life. And step 3 is seeking external support. Whether that's through dedicated therapy, joining support groups, or consciously building relationships with emotionally available people who can finally offer you that missing mirroring and validation.
So, what could you achieve if you finally validated your own invisible pain? It's time to stop telling yourself it wasn't that bad, or minimizing it by saying other people definitely had it way worse. Your pain is real and the signs are clear. By validating your own experience, you take the power back. You step out of the heavy shadow of what didn't happen, and you step into the incredible, limitless potential of what you can build for yourself today. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I truly hope it serves as a powerful, validating first step on your healing journey.